Om Shanti. These practices of Raja Yoga is based on these principles. Any meditation, for that matter, whether it is any yoga, any meditation for that matter, unless one would really like to be a part of the true self and real spirituality, implementation of these practices are difficult. You have noticed from these methods, as we have already spoken in Upanishads, even in this meditation and mantras, they also prescribe all that has been told only in the Upanishads. So, the individual who would like to be really wanting to travel to the spiritual world and true self, and would like to understand and realize the true Brahman, the true Dhyanam, the true purpose of life, the worth and the value and the true reality of living the life. Depending upon all these requirements only, one would be in a position to do these meditations which has been prescribed. There are meditations for siddhis. In our Upanishads, we have, in Chandogya Upanishad, if I remember correct, in Chandogya Upanishad there is a chapter where the various meditations have been prescribed for various siddhis, and I have explained them here. So people who are wanting those siddhis, they have to choose that path that's totally different again. That is there in the chapter in Chandogya Upanishad is there. I have already spoken on that, how to gain these powers of siddhis. So for that it is totally different. For them this is not the path that has to be chosen, and these are different and totally different from that. What we are discussing here is only made for the purpose of identification of the self, the true living, and the Brahma Sakshatkar. And unless this is done strictly according to these prescriptions, it is not possible. I have always told that in Upanishads and Vedas and Shastras, there are no shortcuts, and there cannot be created a shortcut cannot be created. So they have mentioned the sutras, and those sutras have to be elaborately and consistently used and practiced, and have to be perceived in the right sense throughout the living. Then only this is possible, is why many could not walk into the path, this path of life. Even today, even Kali Yuga, there are so many people who preach, there are so many people who understands, there are so many people who are studied and who knows about all this, but there are very, very, very few who really is a Brahma Sakshatkari and who really imparts them to the disciples and lead them towards that. So that's why you will find there's a great gap after Adi Shankaracharya. There is a great gap. Even though many are following many things, but these things are not imparted, and these things are, one is imparting, another is practicing. Both ways there is slackness, is why this could not be done. Many people, especially in Kali Yuga, they're all wanting the siddhis. Everybody wants the siddhi. So they are attaining. There are so many people who are walking in those paths, and you will find many of them have got these siddhis. And they get stuck by the siddhis, they practice them. But here, the purpose here in these sessions of when we are talking about Vedas and Upanishads and things like that, it is totally based on the Brahma Sakshatkaram and true living and values of living, and transforming ourselves into the truth and the reality. So, even though these meditations have been divided into 4 parts, you will find today that also has become a problem. This has been divided into this Karma Yoga, Jnana Marga, and Raja Yoga. It's only for the purpose of convenience of individuals, so that people who have got the aptitude towards different functions based on their intellectual level. We already discussed about it. Intellectual level, this has to be adopted according to that, not to create a division in meditation. But today what happens? It has become a programming of various, they call it as meditations, various kinds of meditations. There is no meditations, there is only meditation. Dhyanam is only one. There is no paryaya for Dhyanam. Now, whichever way Dhyanam is done. See. So, but today it is meditations, and they think this is better and that is not that better. This is good, that is bad. Various discussions on those unwanted, absolutely ignorant discussions take place, but it's of no use. Everything, as I told you, leads towards the Dhyanam. So whichever path is understandable and easier for you to follow, you should choose. Karma yogis are there, they do not understand other things. But again, the Karma Yoga also, as we have told, should be done based on the akarma, should be done as karma, should be done as akarma. He has to reach that level, then only he becomes a karma yogi. Otherwise, just for the satisfaction, I do something, I donate, or I build a temple, and I have built a temple. It's not a great thing that he has done. He has built a temple. He had enough money, so he built a temple. There is nothing unusual or great about it. Unless he is a great yogi. Unless he has done that building of temple with the purpose of yoga, not for the purpose of his fame, not for the purpose of his satisfaction, not for the purpose of his repentance. There are so many people do know. I have done this papa, so I will do this. We donate to the temple. We make silver pada and silver small things. You must have seen that. Even when you go to Badrinath, you will find that silver those Vilyopatras, because there it is not available, the original Vilyopatra. So they put silver Vilyopatra and do puja. So it is not that some sort of compensation being done or some repentance. Okay, if I have this, or if it happens, I will build a temple, or I will do this, or I will donate this, I will donate that. You can do it. Nothing wrong. You can build a temple, you can donate it, you can do everything. You can make a silver Vilyapatra, you can make silver pada, everything can be given, but not with the ego of that. So on the basis of karma yoga can be done. That's called karma yoga. Otherwise it remains as a yoga, remains as a egoistic action. That That's all. That I have donated this. That means, so I got mukti from that Papa because I have done that. He has multiplied his ego on that. So you understand what I mean by that. You see, this is the true karma yogi. But how many are there? Then bhakti yoga. We already spoken about the bhakti yoga. Total devotion and dedication, unless it is there, it is not bhakti yoga, not any other things. Then the jnana margam, we are already practicing through Upanishad, understanding the true way of living the life has been given us in the Mandokya Upanishad and Chandogya Upanishad. Has already explained about the truth of living and the way how to live the life with that dedication and devotion, with absolute rightness. That's called the dharmic way of living. Unless that is done, it's not possible. And then again, Dhyanam, this is Raja Yoga. Even in Raja Yoga, the same principles are being repeated. Everything that Dhyanam, you have to constantly be in Dhyanam. That means you have to be constantly in that consciousness. Then only this is possible. So it is not only simple principles just for the mind to understand. Even though there's a description of mind here in Raja Yoga, because these are the basics of the yoga. People who are starting with it, so they have to understand the mind and the variations of the mind and emotions. Is why in Raja Yoga these things are being told. So these principles are being told is for the purpose of transforming the mind into this situation, so that automatically you are ready for Dhyanam. Then from there the Jnanam is acquired, and through that Jnanam you identify the true Brahman, true way of living, Dharma. What is Dharma? What is Devata? What is Guna? What is this? All these identifications are firmly and truly and perceived in the right sense, so that it is there in each and every memory, each and every cell, each and every action, each and every word, and each and every vision. It is there, and it should be there. So these are being told. So the Chitta Vritti has been explained about this. The Chitta, the Jnanam, and the Vritti, the thought forms and layers, they have to be conquered, they have to be aligned, they have to be centered, they have to be assimilated, they have to be, streamlined for the purpose of the purification of mind, to divert them, direct them into the right intellect, right Atma, where the Brahma Jnanam is available, so that the stability in thinking derives by these practices. And stability in thinking can be brought, stability in thinking only can be instrumental for us to transform ourselves and show us the right path of light. Otherwise what happens? Obstacles are created by these vrittis. So in 8th shloka of this chapter, Viparyayo, Bhagavan Maharishi says, Viparyayo mithya jnanam atadrupa pratishtham. Viparyayo mithya jnanam atadrupa pratishtham. Erroneous understanding is a false conception of an idea or object whose real nature does not. I think this I have taken. Yes. So after that sloka, then where did I stop?
9.
Shabda jnana anupadi vastu shunyo vikalpaha. Shabda jnana anupadadi vastu shunyo vikalpaha is what the next sloka says. Shabda jnana anupadam vastu shunyo vikalpaha. Verbal delusion is caused by identification with words that have no basis in reality. This invariably is the great problem in the common man's life. The Shabdanuvadi, most of them they live in this method. Shabdanuvadati vastu shunyo vikalpa. Shabda jnananupati vastu shunyo vikalpa. Vikalpa Shabda Jnananupadi. Shabda Jnanam. By listening to the words, verbal delusion is caused by the identification with the words that have no basis in reality. We are all attracted and we are all influenced by this prakriya or process in our life. Shabda Prana. Listening to the words, we conclude whatever has to be done or not to be done. Verbal delusion, what she says, verbal delusion is a mental impression created by the reactions to the words that are not found on fact. Man who has learned it and who knows many things, he also reacts on the words. Every action of ours, the most of 99% of our life is spent only on reacting. The action is done probably 1% or less than that. I'm talking about very highest percentage. Most intelligent man must be spending 1% of his life. 99% is only on reaction. Mostly the Shabda. In that reaction, the chapter of reaction, there are so many. With all the Panchendriyas, this reaction takes place. But most of them are by Shabdam and by Rupam, by seeing and by listening. These are the two things. That which has been seen by you may not be the truth, but you presume that is the truth. There is a proverb also, "Anko dekha sach nahi hota hai, sab sach nahi hota hai." It's not necessary it has to be true. Why it is not necessary? As we always said, where am I seeing? Last time I told you in my Guru Purnima talk also. Where are you seeing? You are seeing here. Where are you listening? You are listening here. So when you are seeing, you are not seeing what you are supposed to see. You are only seeing what you want to see. Your emotions are mixed with that. Your all this the senses are mixed with that. And according to your capacity of intelligence and studies and learning, mixed with that. This is what Rupa is, Akriti, Akara is created by you. You decide whether somebody is good or bad by looking at them, as if you are an expert. Same way here, what happened? Shabda Jnana Anubhavam. By listening to that Shabda. Whatever is heard, we react on that. Even though I know what I am and who am I, but when they abuse me with the words, that which is not me, that which is not an identity of me, that which is not at all my characteristics, but still I will get angry. You see, the funniest part of it. Somebody calls me a fool, I immediately think I am a fool. This is the analysis. Somebody calls me a fool, I immediately analyze, think first of all, think that I am a fool. I start analyzing my foolishness. I understand that I am a fool. So being a fool, when the mind No, my mind listens that I am a fool. Naturally, the mind will resist to that because there is no reality there. So the mind will resist to that. So the mind will analyze how to resist it. So in order to resist that I am not a fool, I will have various kinds of reactions. Some will fight. Some will clarify that I am not a fool. Some will ask, on what basis did you let me know, because I do not know the analysis. So you tell me now, why, in which way am I a fool? And some would like to understand that this is the way he might have told me because I am a fool, so he understands himself as a fool because such and such incident took place in our life, so that is why he has called me a fool. That time I was a fool, but not now. Maybe analysis. And then, well, in any case, what analysis will keep on going. First of all, no, so many variants will happen that because of this, because of his, because of, we will never think that he is calling wrong. He is calling me wrong. We always understand that he calls me right, but he has called me fool. Then I will start analyzing whether he is doing this because of this, I will presume. Second is that I will analyze how, on what basis he start doing it, I will analyze. Third, I will question him to explain it. So naturally, having told that he having called you as a fool, he has to justify. So he will put number of 20 items on that and say, this is because of this I have called you a fool. Now he starts analyzing those 20 items. Is it right or wrong? Is it because of that I am a fool? Ultimately, like this, so many things happen in mind and analyzing happens, and ultimately trying to resist. So there are no words to resist. So one either by shabdam, they will resist by fighting. One is that by shabda, resistance by shabda. If he is stronger, then he can physically handle also. That is second way. The third way is that I cannot resist in any way. So what happened? Just swallow it. I am a fool. Take it. Accept it. I am a fool. These are the various conditions. This happens to the mind by just somebody without any clarification, without any basis, without any analysis, one who calls you a fool. Had he known that in the beginning itself, I am not a fool. He is calling somebody else. It's a mistake. Or maybe that my Dhyanam is appearing to be foolish to him. So he has every right to call me a fool. Suppose I am speaking Upanishad, somebody who doesn't understand this, he can call me a fool. He is right in his part. But the one who is understanding, he knows that is, because I am doing this, he is calling me a fool. Fine. That is because of his ignorance. It's a mistaken identity by him, not me. When it is a mistaken identity, I have nothing to do with that. It's his problem. Second is that I know for sure I am not a fool. None of these things happens. This is called realization. But what happens? By listening to Shabda Jnana Anupati. Anupadam. Jnana Anupadam. The Anupada, the percentage of Jnanam is considered based on the Shabda Jnana Anupati. Vastu shunyo vikalpaha. That vastu is not at all there. Fool is not at all there. Vastu shunyo vikalpaha. It's only a vikalpa on his mind. So, by his calling that, you are totally disturbed. You are totally disorganized. You are totally lost your senses, your Dhyanam, your knowledge, your practice, your culture, your bringing up, your everything. Lost all that. You start deciding on that. Then for years together, you will be working on that. How did I become a fool? You totally diverted your action by what? By Shabdam. Is it not? This realization has to be there. There are so many stories I used to tell in my Reiki class where when the Ajnanis go to the Jnani and Maharshis and Tapasvis, they abuse and accuse and they really smile at it, and then finally the other one feels that. So what happens here? The question of repentance, there is no question of guilt, there is no question of anything. When somebody calls an unwanted, addressing you, what happens here? Because of the Shabda Jnana Anubhada, Vastu Shunya, Vikalpa, this Vikalpa is Vastu Shunya, which is not a fact. Vastu Shunya means it's not a fact. When it is not a fact, why do you want to accept it? Why do you want to resist? Why do you want to accept it? Why do you want to resist it? Why do you want to react on it? Why are you reacting? Because you accepted it as a truth. Hey, you are a fool. When I accept it, then only I will react. When I don't accept it, I will not react. So all reactions of acceptance of Shabda. So who are you really now? Now who are you really? A fool. Now really a fool. Is it not? This is how it is. This is the truth. That's what exactly. Why should you think this is what you are? So many ask us. So immediately the question comes from somebody who has not gone through the Upanishadic studies. If it is a normal, the other person who has not undergone these trainings, he will immediately say, do you mean to say that if somebody scolds me, if somebody addresses me of XYZ, do you think that I should keep quiet? That's what somebody asked me in the session. After that, somebody came and asked me that somebody fights with me, what should I do? Somebody thinks that, then they will think that I am very, what is it? What he said? I am weak. That's why. Then I told him that is, what he said is right. Because you are weak, you have reacted. If you are a stronger person, you would not react. What is strength? Strength is Chama, Purusha Lakshanam, Jnana. Who is a Jnani? The one who has got the Chama. I have explained this long back in our Upanishad. The strength is not to destroy. The strength is to have the Chama, to accept it, perceive it in the right sense. To have the Chama means not that, oh, you swallow it. There's a difference. Not that somebody accused you, abused you, you swallow it. No, that is not Chama, that is ignorance, that you do not know. That's because you are not capable enough to understand it. That's why you are swallowing it. That's Mudada. That's difference. That's not Chama. Some people are there because of incapacity, incapability. Well, it's better to keep quiet. How to fight with them? That is not Shama. That is that ignorance. That's absolute Ajnanam. No, it's not that. The strength. Strength is this, only the Jnana. How can you gain the strength? Strength is only through the Jnana. somebody abuses, somebody accuses, or somebody tells something through the Shabda, I, analyzing it, understanding it in the right sense, separating it, not affecting my vrittis, my vicharas, on the chittam, the impressions creating on the chittam. That should not take place. The vritti should not take place there. In order to do that, you have to keep it away from you, dispose it off from there, than getting into the house and making it a mess. This only Jnani can do. When the Jnani analyzes this problem, he is the strongest person, the one who can have Kshama, the one who can pardon, one who can has the Kshama, one who can analyze. He is the greatest Jnani. Only a Jnani can do, excuse others, pardon others. Normal person cannot pardon others. Whatever mistakes they do, it's because of ignorance about Kshama Prada. So we have Kshama about forgiveness. I have written a small booklet on that. You see that. You'll find that. What is that? What is forgiveness? Who can forgive? Who is capable of forgiving? He is only a Jnani who can forgive. A weak person cannot forgive. It is not possible. He will only react. A weak person can only react. That's all. It is your weakness. What is the weakness? Weakness means what? You are an Ajnani. That's the weakness. Even if you got muscle power or money power or man power or any other power, you have got using the power for the purpose of you fulfilling your emotion is also absolute Ajnanam. He is not Ajnani at all. I happened to read somebody made a film on an issue which has happened some time back in our country. The impacts of emergency. A man from Bombay, what is his name? I forgot. He's a director, very man who has earned a lot of awards, national award and things like that for making such movies. He has created this and some people have attacked him and he has got police protection today. So the people who have attacked him, I was just thinking, and when I was reading that, he has made a film which mixed with fiction and facts. A fact as it is naked cannot be produced as a film. It will be documentary. That's why the documentary is different. It is not a documentary, it is documentary mixed with the emotions and films. But some group of people who got wild and he started probably beating him up or something like that. So I was just thinking that by just doing that, the man, who are they doing it? The people who do not know anything about emergency, what has happened and things like that. They are the ones who are doing it. People who have been instigated to do that. So what happens is that even a small instigate, here also in Bengal, so many things are happening because of Shabda, Ajnana, Anupadam, because of Shabda, Ajnana. Violence. Because of what? Because of one Shabda. Somebody told something. If somebody told something, why should you bother about it? So somebody asked, should we not bother about it? If it is not a fact, it is not to be bothered. Ignore. That's all. If they demand an answer from you, and you see that what you are talking is rubbish, that's all. Not at all truth. They demand an answer for you. But Kshama has to be there. The strength of Dhyanam, if it is there, You will be able to handle it, you will be able to, that vikalpam, which is not at all a truth, need not be accepted by you. What I am trying to tell you is that this shabdam, when somebody calls, here also, Swamiji has also taken the same example which I spoke. One is not a fool because he is called a fool. If a person were called a donkey, he would not grow long ears and tail, is what he has written. Absolutely right. Does he grow the tail and long ears? No. They are all, what happens, these are all for people to react in anger and to say statements, in the process actually give validity to them. The mind attributes meanings and gnosis to the words, giving them a false reality. Such reactions to meaningless vibrations is the cause of countless human troubles. That's true. Only shabdam, only by words there are thousands of riots have taken place, are taking place. Only because of shabdam spoken by some idiot, intelligent men react. What's the difference between these two? Why this? It's a beautiful Shruti he has mentioned. A small thing. What is this? A small thing you cannot understand, and you want to do meditation. You want to read Upanishad. You want to write Upanishad. You want to speak Upanishad. You want to live. You want to earn. No. Well, if you cannot do this much, that the shabda that has been listened by you is a fact or not, that if you cannot realize it, who are you then? You ask this question, who am I? If I cannot even understand the meaning of shabdam spoken by somebody, let him be an intelligent man, let him be a fool. If I cannot understand this, who am I? I am not eligible to live as a human being. You are not fit enough. Even though you have got a shape and form of human, you are those two big ears and one tail. I'm telling you the seriousness in a different way, so that one gets the seriousness of the subject. One should understand the seriousness of the each and every shabda spoken by others. If I understand it, if it is not a fact, witness, dilute it, and send it off. Why? You have nothing to do. Do you have to react to every word spoken by everybody? There are some people now. They are busy replying only. They are busy reacting only. That's what I said. 99% of the individual today in this Kali Yuga, in this world, are only reacting. Either in actions or in words or in thoughts. Somebody who doesn't act and somebody who doesn't even shout back or reply back, even back, nothing. There are another category. We think he is very silent, but what happens? Internally, in his thoughts, he is reacting all over the world. That's another kind of thing. By rupam, by shabdam, by inside, because he is unable to react it the other way around, so mentally he reacts. Now all are same. Whether he realizes visually, whether it is through the shabda, or through the mind he is reacting, all are same, because in all the three times, or in all the time, in all the situations, the mind is preoccupied in reaction. It doesn't have any difference there. Whether it is by physically one is reacting, or by words one is reacting, or by action one is reacting, or by one thought one is reacting, nothing has got any difference as far as his mind is concerned, because he is preoccupied in reaction only. He is doing no action at all. He is not living. He is not at all living. So, and somebody asks, how should one live? How should one live? When the wind blows, the bamboo trees as well as the big trees, they sway. Once the wind is gone, they are back again in their position. You get lost. That's all. This is how one has to live. A tree, like a plant, like a tree, like a bamboo tree. That's all. Go. Sometimes we have to abide by. Certain things are there. Suppose there is a Raja who proclaims an ordinance. From tomorrow onwards, nobody should, like Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu said nobody should go and pray to Vishnu temple. No yajnas should be done. Ravan said no yajna should be done. Maybe we have to follow at that time. The wind blows at that time. Nobody did yajna, but everybody did yajna in the mind. Nobody went to the temple, but everybody prayed Mahavishnu inside the mind. In Hiranyakashipu's country, is it not? He cannot control the thought. Can he control the thought? He can only control the actions of them. Same way, our action and our thought should be firm, dedicated and devoted to the truth, the Brahman, the Dhyanam, the Ishwaratva in us, not for the Shabdartha. Here, the Shabda has been specified here, not for the purpose of learning I am talking about here. Here specially, Shabda, Jnana Anupati, Vastu Shunyo, Vikalpaha, this meaning I am talking about. Shabdam is used for teaching, that you have to accept it, you have to learn. Shabdam used to express, to love, accept it. Shabda is used for good things. Why? Here what we are discussing is that based on the Shabda, when you react, even in love, reaction is wrong, action is right. In love, reaction is the one which creates all sorts of problems. Any kind of reaction in any situation or any manner, so it's common, it's absolutely ruled out. Reaction is wrong. Even in absolute perceiving of Dhyanam, of Upanishadic studies from the Guru to the Shishya, the reaction is wrong, but action is right. Perceiving and becoming that. When you gain the Dhyanam, you become the Dhyanam. When you become the Dhyanam, the question of reaction is not at all there. You are becoming that. So the question of reaction is not there. Then when you recite the same thing or repeat the same thing what Guru has told, it's not a reaction, it is a acceptance or perception that you have got. That is the Dhyanam being spoken by you. It's not a reaction again. That's not a reaction. If it has been by-hearted and repeated by you, it's a reaction. This is what is said. If it is by heart, what is that? This is written here. So I by heart it and I speak to you. It's a reaction. I read it, I understand it, the Jnanam has been perceived, and then from the true Jnanam is being revealed. It's an action, it's not reaction. That's the difference between that. Right? Am I clear? We have to understand these things very well. Then only the life can be simple, clean, absolutely pure. We are making our life impure by inducting such things, by reactions. We are creating impurities in our life by inducting these unwanted reactions, unwanted acceptance of unwanted things, acceptance of not facts. I won't call it as unnecessary. I would call it as not facts. There's great difference. This acceptance can come only through learning of the right path, Jnana Margam. So through Jnanam, one will, that's why Maharishi Vaishambhayana very clearly told, and Yajnavalkya clearly told to the brahmacharis of Chandogya Upanishad that once they qualify to be the true brahmachari, he is only the one who is eligible to live dharmically in the right manner. That's very true. Then only that it's known as the true living of the life given to you. Then the life has got importance. That life has got importance. Is it not? Now you take common people. Which life has got importance? Any of them dies, damages, explodes any day. What difference does it make to the world next moment? Nothing. But a great jnani missing from universe, great difference that makes. Suppose a Maharishi who is sitting in Himalayas, who is invisible to us, he radiates Jnanam in the world. Through him being a channel of that Jnanam, he radiates Jnanam through tapasya, he radiates Jnanam. One day he decides to eliminate, dissolute himself into the Brahman. It makes difference. Otherwise, anything goes from this world. How does it matter? So many things have gone. No? So many cities collapsed. So many cities blasted. So many people died whom we thought very important also died. Did it make any difference? Why is it not making any difference? Because they are not important as far as my life and living is concerned. Let it be anyone. As far as my life and living is concerned, my perception of the Brahmajnanam is concerned. So that I live my life the way I am supposed to live dharmically is important. Nothing else will become important to you. It is because of this. Because it is your life and you are supposed to live. He had not been living a life for you. No. He might have been a principal ideal. He might have been a great man. We have lost Gandhi, we have lost Martin Luther, and we have lost such great honorable people. We lost them, yes. But did it make any difference in normal living and lives of people? No. Only once in a year for a holiday, people said today is Gandhi Jayanti. or Gandhi, something. They must be celebrating, the Martin Luther Kings, they must be celebrating there. That's all. How did it? Okay, some people's life has been influenced by them. That's possible because they are nice people. Many people's lives have been influenced by Gandhiji's principles. That way, many people's lives have been influenced by Bhagavad Gita. Many people's lives have been influenced by Upanishad and Shastras, Vedas and things like that. Influencing is there, no doubt. But using that influence, even though you are using that influence as that, but the living has to be done by you. So the most important thing for you, whether something else is there or not, whether Gandhiji is living or not, is immaterial. When you come to that principle of equations of mathematics, whether X, Y, Z is living or not is immaterial, your living is material for you. You have to lead your life and living dharmically. That is most important to you because that's the way it is. So this Shabda Anubhada, the Shabda Jnana Anubhadi, Vastu Shunyo Vikalpa, such principles has to be obsolete from our lives. Then only we can live a dharmic way of living. Dharmam is nothing but identifying the true way of living is dharma. Not intruding into others, not creating problem for others, without creating any intrusion or problem for others, executing our karmas in a righteous manner is called following the dharma. Not intruding. Bhagavan Krishna, even though he attended the war of Mahabharata Yuddha, he did not intrude into anyone, he did not influence anyone, he did not disturb anyone, no? But he executed the whole karma. Dharmic way of execution of life. See, it automatically happened. Well, he is Ishvara. I'm just telling an example of this is what is necessary. So, Shabda Anupadam, Shabda Jnana Anupadam. By listening somebody's words, somebody's instigation, there are so many things. Ninda is one of them. Constant criticism of others. It's Ninda. Why? Why we do Ninda? Because we feel inferior. We feel inferior is why we do Ninda. What you have to understand? No one is inferior to other. No one. Everyone is important for himself, is it not? As far as he is concerned, he is important. In South, there is in our language, and I think it's all over India. There's a proverb, but I don't know how to tell that in some other language. There's a proverb. For a crow, the crow's baby is the most beautiful bird in the world. Kaka, Kaka. No, Kaka is a Sanskrit word, Kaka. For his child or her child is the most beautiful child in the world. No? That's all. Forget about others. Is it not true? It is true. Even today it is true. Absolutely right. Same way, you are most important for yourself. Be sure of it. Don't listen to others. Don't compare with others. Let it be anything for that matter. What we do, though we feel that why did I say all this? Inferior. The kaka, the crow, never thought my child is not beautiful. He was happy. my child is beautiful. That's all. If it is not beautiful to you, that's your problem. No. For me, my child is beautiful. That's all. Forget. No. I conquer the world. That's all. Finished. This is how it is. Perception of that comparative. Why? Because one feels inferior. Oh, my child is dark. My child is black because it's crow. My child is not beautiful like that parrot. Doesn't have many colors on the wings. Not necessary, no? For a crow's job, this is what is necessary. So, why we feel that Ninda is one of those Ajnanam, Shabda Ajnana Anupadam. Ninda is because of the inferiority complex in them, inferiority in them. First of all, we don't have to have that inferiority feeling. Every small, tiny worm is important to its own position. I have told this long back in, what is it called? There are plants which creates, no, that there are in the seal plants and all, there are certain units are there. Out of that, what happens? The water, recycled water and other things, what are they kill all the bacteria, and then when that disposed of, it destroys the fields actually. I'm just forgetting, because long back I've been working for so many years and then I forgot those words. It's not coming. There are plants. Plants means where the function is there. They create, no, certain medicines are put and things like that. For certain functions are there. Through that function, they create bacteria in them, worms in them, and they let it out to the paddy fields and things like that to use them. Then leave it out because they are very necessary there. In our fields, no. Whether any plant for that matter, even if you don't do ploughing with the mechanical or physical system, the worms, rats and others are the ones which are creating, they are ploughing the land, so that the roots of the plants can go in. You all know that. It's all small things. So each and every worm is important for the life. If the worms are important, we are also important to ourselves. So there is no question of feeling insecurity or inferiority because everyone is important in their own positions. Maybe he will not fit into somebody's position. That's a different thing. It's not necessary also. So Shabdam in wider sense, when you bifurcate them, you will find Ninda. You will find then telling false things, so that which creates a disturbance to communities, to people, to families and things like that. Shabdam through that, because of the wrong perception. Shabdam, accusing somebody which is not a fact, which is not a fact. Accusing someone, abusing someone. Abuses are absolutely wrong at all. Even if the person is wrong, and abusing is not necessary. Abuse means letting him down. Is not only I'm not talking about the language that you are using. And abuse, even if we say, we use this term, he abuses his position. Suppose he's a senior man in government or something like that, say a chief minister or a prime minister, we say he's abusing his position. And abuse, degrading the values of that which he is supposed to do, is abusing. That's not necessary. It should not be done. It should not necessary. These are all because of the wrong perception of Shabdartham is the main thing for all these things. Shabdam. We constantly listen to this and then we understand this is what we are. Based on that, we create fear, and then from the fear comes the insecurity. From that insecurity comes kind of mind trying to protect it and provide a safety system for that, is why these imaginary creations are being taken place, and they think that they are trying to do a fencing around them so that to protect them, so they do all sorts of these false things. None of them are necessary. A jnani doesn't get disturbed on that. A jnani doesn't get involved in it. First of all, listening and accepting his involvement. Listen, somebody tells something, naturally my ears will listen. I cannot stop it. Fine. Let that be keeping it, keep it afloat in as a witness. You act on that and dispose it off from there itself, which is not necessary. This is how it has to be done. So Bhagavan says here, he says that overreaction to words, jumping to conclusions are weakness of mind. The vrittis, now what happens now? Okay, you may think, forget about it, ठीक है, क्या है उसमें? 2-4 बार मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग हो गया, 2-4 बार गाली दे दिया, 2-4 बार निंदा किया, 2-4 बार ये किया, 2-4 बार वो किया. What difference does it make? Is what normally we think. Somebody says, no, हमसे एक बार गलती हो गया, माफ कर दीजिए. Do you know what has happened to you? That one time galti has become a vritti in you, a layer of thought. As I told some time back, if I remember, each and every action afterwards, whatever you do, it passes through that. So in every action that you are doing it, in that vritti's action will be to a certain extent, that vritti's action will be there. So even one mistake also matters. Okay, well, we can correct it, that's a different thing, and then change the vritti. That's why we are talking about vritti here. That's why we say that. That's why these advices are given. Shabda jnana anubhadi vastu shunyo vikalpaha. This vikalpa should not arise at all, because that creates a thought form. Whenever it creates a vritti, a thought form in you, those waves in you, wherever that waves are being carried, whatever thoughts are coming to you, will have an impact of reflection of these thoughts in that. Suppose somebody's mind is always criticizing others' actions, automatically when he talks about it, when he speaks some other subject also, automatically these thoughts will intrude into that and will have a sarcasm. Automatically he will start doing the sarcasm, or he will start conversing in a sarcastic version. This happens. Why? Because the vritti has been created. His actions will be there. Sometimes some people are there, they may not talk, but their actions can be seen sarcastic actions. Why? Because they have an inferiority in them. Is why sarcasm is done. Because it's not at all an intelligent move. It's not at all an intelligent reaction. Not at all. It's a foolish reaction actually. Sarcasm. Even if one is talking foolish, don't have to be sarcastic about it. One is talking foolish, we identify, understand, it is foolish, that's all. Let that thought not create a layer of vritti in your system which can influence you in your function. You will become habituated of that. Each and every action of yours will have an influence of that, no doubt about it. Because you do only those things which are there in your thoughts. No? Thoughts are like what? Can you say, okay, this thought I will keep in this corner of my head, this thought on this. It's a, what is what? It's like an energy, it's spread all over. It's an idea, it's an understanding, what we call an understanding. So whenever there is an understanding, every thought passing through that understanding will have that reflection. Is why he says that you have to abide by this. No reactions at all, not even one. Is what we have to train ourselves. So he says, overreaction of words jumping into vrittis, thought waves must be restrained not only during meditation, but at all times, naturally, but all times. Well, during meditation, one may be quiet, one may be peaceful and all that, but when the other times also it has to be there, then only in meditation also it will happen. And one must be particularly wary of praise, for this too is verbal delusion. Whether it is praise, whether it is insult, whether it is abusive, whether it is accusation, whether it is XYZ, everything that influences your mind towards the ego has to be restricted. No reaction should be taken place from that. There is a system that in the king's palace and things like that. Even I think today we are also still following it. This old system, that. I heard that when our president was coming to deliver the last lecture on something, that old system of those people standing there and saying that the president is arriving and things like that. So things like that. So Raja Adiraja Raja Marta and so and so and all sorts of. He is not at all. Veera Dishura Kabhi war nahi kiya. Veera Shura Parakrami. Kya Parakram kiya hai? He slept. Acha. But they have to tell all that. Veera Shura. All sorts of unwanted things have to be told. Praise should be the truth. They are all praises. Now, being a Raja, he would like to be praised in this. Some terms have been mentioned so that it gives an impression to others and things like that. So every time he visits the parliament, these people have by hearted that they have to tell the same thing. It's to verbal delusions, and the ego is ever ready to pounce on any opportunity to see itself as a better or different from others. They can tell, no problem. But Raja should not get affected by that. It is their duty, because they are the sevaks. They are the parliament, they are the ministers. They are supposed to say that, because why? The glories of the God. Now, we take in temples, we take God's statue, and in Tirupati you have seen, all around that Shiveli is there. No, they'll take around and say Govinda, Govinda, and they will all start jumping, dancing, and then singing the glories. That is their dedication, that is their devotion towards that. Same way it is his dedication towards the Raja. He is telling that our Raja, he is so and so, he is so and so, he is so and so. It is his. They can do it. I told you also in one of the classes. They can do it. But not that Raja should get influenced by that. No, he should not misunderstand that I am a Veera Shura Parakrami. No. That he should not know. When Govinda, thousands of people, everybody is chanting, Bhagavan doesn't get his ego. Should not happen. Should not happen. That's what I said. That you remember I told example of me. I told that I should not get the ego that I am so and so Muralidharan or so and so Guru or something like that. Others can call me, because for them I am that. They can call me. I should not make my conscience influenced by that and get my ego boosted up. I should not do that. You understand? So the others can shabda, the others can talk to you, the others can abuse you, others can accuse you, but you should not get affected by that. Why? Through the Dhyanam you have to understand it is false. This person has got some grievance or he is not well. Some treatment has to be done for that. You know that normally in Kerala they say that amla hai na, uska ras ka, tal uska upar mein iska, they put a ring like a barrier ring, with the Kerala leaves and all that, they make a ring on that, and they will fill that oil with this one, amla ka, so that this becomes thanda. So he needs the only thing in your mind. Yeah, this is Ayurvedic treatment. It's not a joke. In Ayurvedic treatment, this is one of the treatment for that. That for those people. For those people, this is necessary. So when somebody tells something, immediately you can picturize this. He is putting a crown and then all that oil here. Poor fellow sitting inside. So he can talk anything he likes. This is what you should picturize. Delhi kya tala? Pounds on any opportunity. No, not everyone is going to feel the same way as one who bestows a compliment. Inevitably, the pendulum swings in the direction and criticism will be heard sooner or later. But happiness should not raise. Your happiness, your equilibrium, your dedication, your devotion, your life, your living should not be, but happiness should not rest on praise or abuse. For in all conditions, the only reality is the self which is beyond qualities and beyond change. Your life cannot be changed. It doesn't have any change. You think it's changed? No. It's your living that is changing, not the life. The life is same. So be sure of that, not to get influenced by these words, shabda, artham. These shabda should not influence you. As far as these things are concerned, you should not become egoistic. Otherwise, shabda is a medium through which we have to learn, through which we understand, through which we enjoy, through which we do a lot of things. Is utilize shabda only for that. So he writes, I used to tell some stories, something like this. So Swamiji also has written a small example, same thing what I used to tell. A great Hindu holy man was once insulted in front of his disciple by a non-believer who spat on his face several times. Not one muscle of his face twitched, nor did his calm facial expression change, because he did not identify with his physical sheath. His mind was centered in the godliness. Can you imagine the strength of that Swami? Great Swamiji is prostrated in front of him. No matter what was done to them, they responded with one thought, that was pure love. The true master will not react to those, for to him insult and praise are same. Well, like this, many stories I used to tell in our classes, you remember. So anyway, what happens is that they are great people because they have got great strength. They do not believe in any of this. As I always tell that, who do we insult and who is feeling the insult? Who gets insulted? Our ego gets insulted. So it's that's all very simple, that we understood that. Restraint of thought waves does not mean suppression. Does not mean that you don't accept the waves, means not that you are suppressing. Suppression dams up violent emotions. For various reasons, people suffer abuse, suppressing anger. This I have already told you that. Some people swallow it, I said. That's called suppression. Then what happens at one fine morning? They explode. That's all. Either they go out of mind or they explode. The restrained thought waves must be given an outlet. They must be sublimated and channelized into such uplifting activities. Exchange them. If it is not possible for you, that's why I told you, Guru Purnima Day, I told them to do a meditation. You remember that is to empty from their burdens. Leave it. So all of you have done that meditation. So leaving that burden, let other man, whatever he is, XYZ, is immaterial. But I am burdened because of that. Let me remove that burden from me. I am lightened. This is what that meditation we did on that day. So, the principle being exchange love for anger or joy or sorrow. This confession, the process of confession in Christianity, they've got a method, no? They go and confess to that father, that confession is there. It's good actually, it's a sort of regression, but what happens, it has become a formality. And men keep on doing mistakes and he keeps on doing confession. The confession has no importance actually. Confession should be actually with absolute understanding through the mind. So it can be done only once in a lifetime. It's not that every week there, what happens? Every week he goes and confesses, Father, I have done this. Okay, you'll take care. Next week again, Father, I have done this. Okay. You'll also take care. One day, Father himself was taken care. There is no father, there is no son. Finished. So that kind of, there is not that kind of confession. We have confessions also. We go, we tell, our mother used to tell, we go in front of the God in the temple and say that, hey Bhagavan, not asking for something. Mistake has happened by me. We confess to the God. We can do it. We confess to the God, we confess to the Guru, wherever that Dhyanam is there. Where are we confessing? We have to confess to the highest consciousness, which can absorb this confession and transform you through the Dhyanam and replace that guilt into the Dhyanam. This is why confession is done. That's why we do the regression. Why we do past life regression and all. It also we say that. Regressing in order to remove that guilt from you. Remove that fear from you. Remove that action from you. That's reaction from you. That result from you. So that it's replaced by the highest consciousness. We do confession. We should do confession. In case we have done some mistake, we should do confession. We can do confession to the God. People who have got, honestly, they can confess in front of Lord. TK. We go to temples. Even if you're sitting at home, think of God and do it. You can confess to the Guru, who can transform it into the right energy so that never happens. These are all the great principles, great people. That's why, they go and confess in front of saints and gurus, saints and rishis. So many people, they go and surrender themselves at the feet of great gurus. So even Ishvara, even the reincarnations you must have read about. In Puranas you will find this, lot of them. They go and say, hey, Maharishi, aisa ho gaya, now what to do? Same thing as Parikshit has done. He got the tapasya and he said, Bhagavan, what to do now? Please advise. To Narada, to Shuka, to Bhagavan. See. Then they started doing the Bhagavad Upadesha. So what Parikshit has done? He knew he has committed his mistake. He committed a crime, he committed a mistake. Now what to do? It's been done. Now he has to confess. Study, confessed. Then he said, this is the punishment. Fine, I accept it. Like that, so many stories you will find in Puranas. These are all to make us conscious that one should confess. But confession should not be a regular practice. That is, it's not a usual way of. But today, of course, it has taken another turn. No confession at all. They claim that whatever they have done is right only. Not even confession. Even though they know that it is wrong. You must be thinking like that. But you do not know. That is the Yuga, you know what to do. You are the most intelligent man. Nothing, let me take the other route and slowly walk away or kya karenge. Bhagavan, Maharishi says, abhava pratyalambana vritti nidra. Abhava pratyalambana. Abhava in office. That means mental modification with encompasses an absence of any content in the mind is called sleep. Sushupta avastha, he is talking about nidra avastha or sushupta avastha. Sushupta avastha is not a conscious state, it is an unconscious state. It has no intelligence there, it has no jnanam there. Absolutely, during the sleep, state of mind is blank, nothing in the mind. So there is an experience of void in which the mind is attending to no thoughts. Some people may even experience this void state of mind with eyes open. But this vritti must not be mistaken for the superconsciousness state in which there is full of concentration, awareness, realization of the self. This Swamiji has told specifically because some people, they do meditation, even they sit and then suddenly they think that it's all blank. So they will think it's an awareness, it's a consciousness, it's an awareness, it's an upliftment. It is not like that. There are two things. When the blankness is there, it's difficult to make you understand the blank state of blankness. Where there is no jnanam at all, absolutely nothing. That's called the deep sleep state. That's called the sushupta avastha. In that there is no jnanam. But then, when one is conscious, when he is not, even some people with eyes open, that's what he's telling. With eyes open, one sleeps. Or when they meditate, they sleep. Then there will be absolutely blank. That blankness should not be misunderstood as the consciousness, because the super consciousness is totally different. In that, there is a typical ananda is taking place that cannot be explained. But in the deep sleep state, that ananda is not taking, nothing is taking place. It's complete void. Nothing is taking place. You cannot explain it, and it's difficult. There are no words to explain that. Void we can explain, but the other ananda, status of ananda, that's called the turiya avastha. Turiya, the meaning of turiya is that nothingness. No thing is called nothing. There are no events happening. There are no incidents happening. There are no thoughts happening. There are no intelligence. There is no awareness. There is nothing like that. What happens? No, nothing. Nothing is happening. Then what is happening? And when it is an absolute jnanam, in the presence of everything, or after acquiring everything, there is a particular achieved satisfaction. I mean, it's not that. I mean, just telling an example. Achieved satisfaction, ananda taking place. Even this happens to us in our material life. Suppose we thought something. There's a difficult job to be done. Okay. With great struggle, we accomplished it. After accomplishing that difficult, strenuous, stressful action happening in our favor, in your favor, having achieved that, for a moment, there's an emptiness which is happiness. Not that you're relating to that what has happened and then enjoying it. That's it. If that will happen afterwards, you come back home, then you explain, and in that physical ananda taking place is not what I am saying. At that moment, suppose it's a point of action, okay. I have to take this. I took it. That fraction of a second, an achievement taking place in the mind. It's only fraction of a second. It has no reason. It has no objects. It has no classification. It has no analysis which Ananda takes. That's called the Ananda. Suppose that is constant. That's called the identification of the super consciousness or higher consciousness. Are you getting what I'm trying to tell you? It happens only for a fraction of a second. Then we attach, oh, I have done this, I have got it, thank you very much, or don't thank you very much. All that what happens. Then celebration happened, it has happened. We enjoyed, we celebrated, we had a party, care of that and all that. That is a conscious enjoyment which is not an ananda status, it's not super consciousness. But I'm just comparing with the physical attainment of the bhautic world. This also happens. It's not that it doesn't happen. As soon as it is achieved, a student, a student, he has written an exam, he is anxious about the result, and then everything knows, then he goes and sees. Those days the result is declared, the board in the school, you have to go there and see your serial number when we were studying like that. But today you can see it in the computer. Everything is same, it's okay. You can go into the computer and you keep on looking 365050 789 786 786 787 heart beating 78 closer to 789. 789. That moment, what is that happiness? Just when you see that 789, what is that happiness? After that it's changed. Within a fraction of a second it's changed. By looking at it, you become absolutely like that. See, that status is that means achievement of everything there. The fulfillment is there. Contentment is there. Fulfillment. When you are aware of the absolute Brahman, when you have known the complete secret of the universe, that remains. That's called Brahma Jnanam. That remains throughout Brahma. Whether you do whatever you do, whenever you do, that remains as that. You can compare yourself with that. See? That fraction, that's continuous. Suppose throughout like that. You cannot think anything. You are not seeing computer. You are not seeing 789. You are not seeing the number. You do not know whether you passed or not. You do not know whether you are there or not. Which exam is that? Nothing is known. That moment, we say a state of shock. We call it. That is called Ananda. That also can be called as voidness. That voidness with full of knowledge there is called the Ananda, status of Ananda. When you reach that, that's called realization. That's what is it. Okay. So for today, let us stop there. So that you will have Ananda the night after sleeping. Today I have seen an advertisement, so there is a with the rubber band and all that, the one mask is there to press this and then through elastic and cover it like that and sleep so that you don't snore. So your knowledge is not going out. You remain inside only through the Sushupta Avastha. But the one who knows, all that goes out, So you have to do that. As a mechanic, I have seen a mechanic system, I thought of ordering one. Let my Dhyanam not go through. Ishvara Rakshasya.